What's up, co-reporters, and welcome back to my channel. Disgraced rapper Sean Diddy Combs is trying to kind of recuperate what's left of his shattered reputation now that 4 sexual assault lawsuits have been filed against him back to back within the past several weeks. The world watched him quickly settle his lawsuit with his former girlfriend Cassie, which in my opinion is an admission of guilt. But now that a fourth accuser has come forward, Diddy has had enough and is speaking out, denying all allegations against him. But listen, why would Diddy pay Cassie off so quickly if she were lying, right? And also, if he is willing to pay her off so quickly to be quiet about everything that she has alleged in her lawsuit and to not call forward all the witnesses that she was ready to call forward, basically with this admission of guilt, why wouldn't we believe that there are other potential victims out there? So I really am not buying what it is that Diddy is putting out there. We're going to go over his statement soon enough, but just hang tight. Let's go over what's been going on. The rapper first made headlines in November when his ex Cassie filed a bombshell lawsuit against him, alleging that the music mogul raped and ex-trafficked her over the course of 10 years. And this complaint was filed against P Diddy in New York, because at this time, a lot of these women are stepping forward because the Adult Survivors Act was ending, right? So they wanted to beat that deadline before all of their trauma and everything that they went to. They wouldn't be able to recuperate a financial kind of like settlement for all of their alleged pain and suffering. And so she says that there was a gripe in 2018 when she would try to leave him. There would be allegedly violence that would take place. Apparently he would videotape her and these random escorts that he would have her go look for on the internet. It was a lot of really shocking things. In fact, Cassie's allegations against Diddy were so extreme and so shocking and disturbing that the lawsuit came with a trigger warning, which is not something you see every day. In fact, this is something that I had never personally seen before Cassie's lawsuit. So it's really no surprise that Diddy rushed to settle this as quickly as possible, because this is just the tip of the iceberg. Imagine what else would have come out with all of the witnesses that she had lined up. So after Cassie's lawsuit was settled, on November 23rd, 2 new lawsuits were filed against Diddy by 2 different women in the Manhattan Supreme Court. In the first lawsuit, a woman named Joy Dickerson Neal accused Diddy of drugging and raping her when she was a college student at Syracuse University in 1991. She's claiming that she was the victim of revenge porn after Diddy allegedly recorded the incident and shared the tape with others in the music industry. Does that sound familiar to you? That is exactly what Cassie was alleging Diddy did to her. Guys, people rarely change, right? The man you got is the same man another woman's going to get after you, a lot of the times. And so I'm not surprised to hear that these other women's alleged experiences with Diddy line up with what it is that Cassie is saying. It sounds like a pattern of behavior here. And, it is rather disturbing behavior. And I did a stream about the initial allegations that came out with Kempire, Wine and Chill, Stephanie from Wine and Chill, and Layla Lynn was there as well. So you guys definitely have to check that out if you haven't already. But Stephanie from Wine and Chill, she was actually an interning at Diddy's Bad Boy label, right? And so she had heard rumblings of this sort of stuff. She talks about it more on her Patreon page, but she had heard rumblings of these freak offs and whatnot. So just like knowing someone who used to work there, and her other former colleagues, like, it's too real for me to deny. And again, Diddy settling it in 24 hours is just too it's an admission of guilt, in my opinion, right? So let's get into the second lawsuit that was filed against P Diddy. Again, all of these are coming out right now because the New York State Adult Survivors Act window was about to close. And so Joy Dickerson Neal says, and I quote, this last minute Diddy claimed against Joy Dickerson Neal that her lawsuit was an example of how a well-intentioned law can be turned on its head. Ms. Dickerson's 32-year-old story is made up and not credible. Mr. Combs never assaulted her, and she implicates companies that did not exist. This is purely a money grab and nothing more. Now, mind you, this lawsuit is still in court. He has not yet settled it with the same quickness that he settled Cassie's lawsuit. I don't think that that's because this lawsuit is necessarily frivolous or false as he would want to have you believe. I think he is counting on the fact that this woman is not well known the way that Cassie is. And he's hoping that this story will pass through the news cycle quickly. The suit and stuff will not be followed. But rest assured, Diddy, we are following this, with very open eyes, because I think that if you guys keep going and continuing with this lawsuit, witnesses are going to be called. You're going to have to sit down and testify. She's going to have to sit down and testify. And you guys' testimonies are going to be rather interesting in regards to how you carry yourself around vulnerable women. Allegedly, of course. Now, in the other lawsuit that was filed the same day against Diddy, a third woman, this time she filed under Jane Doe to stay anonymous, was alleging that Diddy and another singer-songwriter called Aaron Hall took turns graping her and a friend in New York City more than 30 years ago. And again, Diddy denied that lawsuit as well. So here's the pattern, right? Diddy denies every single lawsuit that comes out against him. Meanwhile, the first one he settles in 24 hours or less. So, and then after he settles with Cassie, what does he say? This isn't an admission of guilt. I'm just giving away all these millions because I feel like it, basically. Like, come on, what do you take us for, right? So this is the statement that he released against the Jane Doe. These are fabricated claims falsely alleging misconduct from over 30 years ago and filed at the last minute. This is nothing but a money grab. Because of Mr. Combs' fame and success, he is an easy target for anonymous accusers who lie without conscience or consequence for financial benefit. Now, mind you, he did release something this time publicly on his own Instagram account. So what we're seeing so far are just statements that he's been releasing through his attorneys, but trust and believe, Diddy spoke out via Instagram as well. Now, the spokesperson for Diddy also added that the New York legislature surely did not intend or expect the Adult Survivors Act to be exploited by scammers. The public should be skeptical and not rush to accept these bogus allegations. Again, I am inclined to believe these women filing these lawsuits against Diddy because these rumors have been following Diddy for years, you guys. I've heard so many terrible things about what he allegedly does behind the scenes. So for me, it's rather easy to go ahead and believe this. And again, with all the stuff that Cassie was alleging and with him settling with her quicker than I could blink, it just come on now, right? So now, most recently, yesterday on Wednesday, December 6th, so after the Adult Survivors Act ended, which means that now Diddy can no longer use that excuse. In two of his things where he's shooting down the women filing these lawsuits against him, he's like, oh, it's a money grab from this thing that's about to end, and they just want to file these last minute lawsuits. Well, now Girly Pop filed one on December 6th. And she is also under Jane Doe, and she accuses Diddy of, and the former Bad Boy Entertainment president, Harvey Pierre, and a third person of trafficking and gang rape when she was 17 years old. Now, People magazine managed to obtain a copy of this filing, and the Jane Doe, who is the fourth accuser against P. Diddy, is claiming that Pierre approached her at a lounge in Michigan and convinced her to take a private jet with him and a third alleged assailant to P. Diddy's recording studio in New York City. And mind you, despite her staying anonymous under Jane Doe, somehow photos of her, she's blurred out, but photos of her at the recording studio have leaked onto the internet. And so that is proof that she was there, right? And she says that once she arrived, she alleges that she was given drugs and alcohol before being viciously gang raped. And that is just, really, really horrifying to imagine to any woman, much less a 17-year-old at the time being surrounded by grown-ass men. Just disturbing. Listen, like I said off the top of this video, I believe every single allegation against Diddy. And I also believe that Diddy is lucky that more have not come out. And especially not from alleged male victims, because I have heard that there are allegedly male victims out there of P. Diddy's as well. And so I'm not surprised that they're not coming forward. I think that perhaps the stakes for them are even higher because Diddy has never really come out as being, gay, bi, fluid, or whatever. So I feel like if a man comes forward and says that Diddy did some things to me, the retaliation could be, very extreme and maybe even deadly. Remember, Cassie said in her lawsuit that Diddy set Kid Cudi's car on fire. Kid Cudi verified that claim via his publicists and everything. So imagine if that is something that Diddy would do to a guy who was just like dating a girl. What would he do to a guy who publicly accused him of doing these sorts of things to him? I'll leave your imaginations up to it. So now let's get into the statement that Diddy has officially released, okay? He says, enough is enough. For the last couple of weeks, I have sat silently and watched people try to assassinate my character, destroy my reputation, and my legacy. Sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of the awful things being alleged. I will fight for my name, my family, and for the truth. Sean Diddy Combs. All right, Sean Diddy Combs, go ahead, go through the justice system. Don't settle these lawsuits. Fight them, and let's see what happens. I'm really looking forward to hearing his testimony of things. And I wonder, what types of witnesses are going to be called, right, to corroborate these stories. Will former Bad Boy employees be called forward? Will Cassie even potentially be called forward? Did any of these overlap with his situation with Cassie? There's just so much to uncover. And will more people come forward now that Diddy is, speaking through his own Instagram account, accusing everybody of being a liar? And speaking of Cassie, did her settlement with Diddy include a gag order? Because if not, I would love to see her show some solidarity to these other people. Not that she owes it or anything like that or has to, but I do think that it would be lovely. Because listen, we all believe Cassie. I have never heard anyone except maybe a Dusty, claim to not believe Cassie. Okay, so I think that she would lend a lot of credence to these other stories, especially if any of them overlapped, because these freak offs and stuff, there were multiple people there. Of course, there were multiple men, but I wouldn't be surprised if there were multiple other women as well. And so, only time will tell. Listen, I will keep you guys updated as these lawsuits continue to kind of creep through the justice system and everything. I am very much interested in hearing what Diddy has to say, how he's going to defend himself. I really, truly believe every single lawsuit out against him, and I wouldn't be surprised if more came out in the future, but that's just my opinion. What do you think about everything? I'm really looking forward to what you have to say in the comment section down below, so make sure to leave a comment, and as usual, we'll chat. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.